Let's do a highlight video here for one of these SEC games. I'm host Adam Burke of ATS Radio, joined by professional bettor and handicapper Brad Powers from bradpowersports.com. Game 307-308 is Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Tennessee laying 15, which seems like a very big number for a struggling Volunteers bunch. Total 50.5 in this one. But Brad, you don't think it's that big of a number for the Volunteers?
Yeah, with a team that's lost 6 straight games, playing, a couple young quarterbacks on the road. Yes, it doesn't sound ideal, but I am going to lay it here with Tennessee minus the 15. And to me, it comes down to it's more of a play against Vanderbilt, who, has had a lot of bad performances this season. They just had their worst performance of the season in their last game against Missouri. They get beat 41-0, and the box score reflected that, outgained by like 400 yards. And to me, Tennessee's just as good as Missouri. Crushed them earlier in the year when Tennessee was playing, better at that point. And I just think Jeremy Pruitt and the Volunteers need a feel-good win. They are on the school record 6-game losing streak. And, you could say, they kind of given up on the season. No, they haven't. They got the back door against Florida last week. Could have covered against Auburn if not for a 100-yard interception return touchdown. So I don't think they've given up at all. I question whether or not Vanderbilt gave up the season. Interim coach that has no shot of getting the full gig because they're already interviewing other coaches. The Sarah Fuller story, the girl kicker, I don't care where you're at on that side of the spectrum, but reading the tea leaves, and I do a lot of work in the Nashville area as far as shows, and they kind of give me little tidbits. I'm not sure that that's overwhelmingly supportive of everybody in that locker room. So I don't think that's a good mix. And Vanderbilt earlier when they released the depth chart, looks like they're going to be down to less than 50 scholarship players for this game. So add it up for me. I think Tennessee rolls. And if they get an opportunity to put it on Vanderbilt, I think they do it.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point here, too, in these rivalry games. If you get a chance to kick an opponent while they're down,
do it.
You want to do it. And especially for Tennessee, with the season that they're having, the situation that they're in. And you bring up some great points about Vanderbilt, some things that maybe we're not as privy to in a general sense of, where that locker room kind of sits with everything going on. And not even just the Sarah Fuller story, but simply Derek Mason was probably a pretty well-liked coach in that locker room. He didn't have a whole lot to work with. The, admissions requirements at Vanderbilt are quite high, especially relative to the other SEC programs. He wasn't really set up for success there, but becomes the scapegoat, as is often the case with these coaches. And, I wonder for the players, if it's something where they show up at all here in this game. And I think you're definitely on to a lot of good points with that handicap. So Brad Powers on Tennessee here. I agree with his position, laying 15 or 15.5 against Vanderbilt here in week 15. Make sure you subscribe to our ATS YouTube page for all of our highlight videos, and also check out our full shows on ATS Radio, which you can find anywhere you stream and download your podcast content.